See, that's what I thought. 4 of the 5 members on this board are going to be members from LC, but Zyrhoes winds up sneaking in there himself. No surprise to me. FNATIC had a great early game. LC just didn't take a lot of the opportunities that were given to them. Thanatos just didn't really exist. But as soon as the late game swing, Zashu came online, and not for nothing, I think sort of a warm-up phase for the Sobek. Early on, we saw a lot of missed plucks out of EmilZy. Not the story in the second half of the game.
Yeah, like the first 10 minutes we were talking about it, and then it's like, all right, now EmilZy is hitting every single one clean. But that was honestly, I don't know if this was FNATIC's game plan, but a lot of times these players would get plucked beads, and then all of FNATIC would actually kill EmilZy. Yeah. But in the meantime, Aero and the rest of LC were just barraging them with a ton of damage, a lot of AoE poke, and just able to come out on top of those fights. FNATIC could lock down EmilZy, but then they lost a player in response. A lot of time, it was Zyrhoes. That's the player they couldn't have had lose in those games. Game 2 though, London Conspiracy this time going to be Order, and they're actually going to be the ones to ban away the hell from maniaKK or Zyrhoes. I don't know. Does Zyrhoes play it?
London Conspiracy wants to pick something first. Well, obviously, because they go for Order. But what I mean by that is Hell is not a god that they want to pick up first because they want to pick something different. They ban out Hell because they expect FNATIC to respond by choosing Hell themselves. FNATIC, on the other hand, they ban Khepri because knowing EmilZy, this is a very, London Conspiracy, very sort of support-focused team, I would say, a lot of the time. Khepri, obviously, on the table for LC. The team opts to pick up Janus.
And that's going straight to Aero. London Conspiracy prioritizes this god immensely. I think this is probably their most prioritized god when everything is left open, outside of maybe a Hell if they want to really draft a team comp around there. Sun Wukong going to be locked in for maniaKK in the solo lane.
Yeah, and these two gods are really the conversation that a lot of the community is having. Which of these two gods is sort of the top pick right now? Janus or Sun Wukong both bring so much to a team. And Neith, again, picked very early on, and Neith is a character where a lot of times gods find a position. Either they're, if we see Janus picked up here in the bottom side of the, why did Janus get through so late? Neith can be picked second or last, and I won't bat an eye. She's generally totally fine to be picked whenever.
She can be banned too. Like you could literally do anything with Neith, and Neith is really a team comp dependent thing, and you know Janus and Sun Wukong, they're pretty high prioritized, but I don't know. A lot of the picks and bans, I think, for this split have been about team comps more than anything. And a lot of players like to draft team comps around a Janus or around a Wukong, but I don't think either of them are necessarily like, I have to have these gods first pick. Athena, Thor, global boys coming out from London Conspiracy. They're going to be all across the map. And Real's going to be on that Freya. That's a god that could get pressured out by London Conspiracy. I think Realz is going to be playing a pretty wait, no, I'm sorry. There's a Neith. Neith's going mid.
Neith will most likely be going mid on a Zyrhoes. A lot of control out of that Neith. And yeah, you're right. So might be pressure. Freya might be pressured in the long run, but Neith at the end of the day, you're in trouble? No problem. I'll help you out with a stun from the other side of the world.
I wonder if they're going to go a Realzx for their jungler. Or no, they have Thor, right? They can Thor solo, though. Get banned out by London Conspiracy. They drafted their Athena, so it's always smart to really take out the Geb, and they've taken out most of the top supports. I think FNATIC, they're going to be forced to draft something that can get shut down by these globals. More importantly, the Thor. You take a look at really the options left that BAdgah plays. There's Ares, there's Sylvanas, and there's Ymir. All three of those gods, not really high mobility, and what a lot of teams are doing is if any of those threes are drafted, they draft these high-pressure mobile comps to lock down those supports and find early picks. Guan Yu, going to be drafted for London Conspiracy, going to the solo lane against that Wukong.
But the party monkey, I mean, FNATIC, we have Batz picked up here, and this is a character that I love his ability for team fight, and taking a look at what FNATIC has drafted thus far, Batz is going to be a very important part of this team composition because right now, Sun Wukong doesn't really have a fantastic... He's not the initiate guy, right? He can start a fight by knocking people up with the Ox or whatnot, but he's not this large Intoxicate or big Cataclysm. Batz, on the other hand, he'll be able to accomplish that.
speaking of Intoxicate, it's going to be Bacchus. That is a support that is very mobile, and I think we're going to see BAdgah a little bit safer there. And I like this option, regardless of what Bacchus is bringing to the team individually compared to the other supports. I think at the very least he's drafting a god that's very mobile and won't get locked down by this high-pressure global composition that London Conspiracy has drafted.
It'll be an interesting situation to see how everything winds up playing out. As we get onto the battlefield, FNATIC on the right side in red, London Conspiracy on the left side in blue, and everybody pretty much where we expected. Zyrhoes on that Neith, a little bit different, but we'll be playing in the mid lane. Very similar to what we see out of Lobster. And if you take a look at VODs from 3 months ago, everyone was playing Neith mid. It was the Heartseeker world.
Was Lassus the first one?
It all really just happened at the same time.
I think it was Lassus, though.
Heartseeker might have been Lassus first.
I could be wrong. I know a lot of it was Eager created the Guardian meta, and everyone hated them for it. And then they would just put, like, Heartseeker Neith mid, right? They're just like, at last, like, yeah, man, Hunters are easy. Let's get them nerfed. And I was like, man, you are right. Those are doing a lot of damage with Heartseeker. He's like... It's like poor Poseidons and Raws. They're like getting autoed for like a quarter of their life at level 6. And you're like, oh, that's... Thank God
Luckily, we've left that in the dust. That said, Neith is still a very valuable mid laner, largely because of two things. Her ability to clear the wave and clear it safely is very strong. And my personal favorite part of the kit is her ability to impact the other lanes, or even the jungle if need be, from where she stands. And I think that she makes that impact. Guan makes a big impact, right? You can lower health thresholds, and if for some reason you have a Gem of Isolation, provide a slow, right? Neith, on the other hand, it's damage, usually decent damage, and a stun, which we see force beats out a lot. So Neith can really make an impact. I still love the Neith mid. I always have.
Zyrhoes heading to mid lane, going to be matching up against Aero's Janus here. And Aero, this is probably, I don't know, I know it's his top picked god. It's also banned away a lot from him. But yeah, London Conspiracy put a lot of respect into Aero's Janus, and I think he has a really nice Isis as well. From there, his god pull, I think, starts to slow down. So we'll see how effective he can be. Cherryo, a little bit slow to those mid camps, and I love this. This is what a lot of junglers do. Oh, Cherryo, lag. This is what a lot of junglers do now. If they feel like they cannot contest their rights, they'll just go and take to the left. Right. Or at the very least, they just don't want to fight. And you can see Aero lost the lane pressure early because he is against the Neith, which means it's harder for you to contest those mids because your mid has to get the experience from that wave.
I actually think that's a 2-on-2 that London Conspiracy would take. Batz and Neith versus a Thor.
It's lane pressure.
There's no problem. I think that London Conspiracy takes it, but Aero was already at those left-hand harpies. So Cherryo forced to follow up.
Zashu getting poked out of this lane early on. He has 6 potions to his name, also a self-heal in his kit, while maniaK, you know, you take a look at it and it looks like Zashu's losing, but maniaK is the one that has no potions in his kit right now, so he's actually behind. EmilZy gonna stun out. Taunt out the Burt, but no, he didn't connect with it.
Pulse out coming out from Reels.
Yeah, Zashu is winning this lane. maniaK only on... Oh no, he had way more potions than I thought he did. He has 2 health. Zashu has 4 though, and a self-heal, right?
Zashu has a lot.
It's a lot of just hitting each other back and forth.
Yeah, I mean this is largely what we see.
Zashu's actually in kill range. This is bad for him. He got greedy. There's the Neith ult coming through, and that does a lot of damage. You could see the global rotation from Aero. He's over here. So is Cherryo. No ult from him. maniaK, he's not 5, and Cherryo finds a nice return kill, but the 500 gold bounty does go to Zyrhoes for that first blood.
Yeah, I mean, maniaK just caught out there. He knew there was nothing he can do. Basically, his goal there was to waste enough time for animals to come back up and bird out of there, no problem. Unfortunately, there was a problem, and maniaK gets forced into the ground as a follow-up onto the first blood. Double taunt out of the dual lane of London Conspiracy, but a quick banish from Realzx is going to put 2 people in the air and prevent the aggression.
And a lot of pressure Shaggyshenk is putting onto Realzx here in this dual lane. Gold about even though. Look at this, maniaK still not level 5, trying to lock down Zashu over the walls. CaptainTwig feared straight out of his own tower. Fantastic placement of that Fear No Evil by CaptainTwig.
Yeah, again, so the intricacies of Batz it's very interesting. So the way it works is Fear No Evil will pulse separate pieces of crowd control, which is interesting for gods like Tyr. But in any event, it'll pulse separate pieces of crowd control directly away from that center, the totem, the center of the ultimate. So by putting it on top of the tower, CaptainTwig forces
in the air. Cherryo trying to lock down Zyrhoes here. Not going to. Oh, he's diving real deep. He had Athena charging after him. Oh, that unstable vortex doesn't connect, and it looks like CaptainTwig going to be able to turn this one around. maniaK's rotated in as well, taking out Cherryo. Beads used by EmilZy. He'll stay alive, but good play by FNATIC on the return gank, and yeah, Cherryo went just a little bit too deep on that one.
Yeah, sure. I don't have a problem with how deep he went, as a steal attempt turned sour for the Hunter on a lot of conspiracy.
He's done. I mean, as long as CaptainTwig doesn't miss his abilities, yeah. I mean, and if you miss overhand smash, then it's...
and excuse me, he wasn't trying to steal. He was trying to secure his own buff. There just happened to be 4 members of FNATIC on the purple, so it skewed me a little bit.
Oh, Cherryo, he's in a bad spot. He's actually portaled. But if CaptainTwig can recognize this, no, he's not going to. A little bit wary. EmilZy and Cherryo here as well. And there's a lot of base damage on these gods, Thor and Janus. So you could see FNATIC, rightfully so, giving a lot of respect to the damage output that LC could have here, even in a 3v4.
FNATIC's so interested in this purple buff.
Zyrhoes is doing so much work for this team right now. The double bounce connects. Zyrhoes just going to have to back out of that one, but attack speed taken and hand it over to Reals.
A lot of resources. I mean, that was about a minute worth of engagements, right? FNATIC goes, they put 3 people on that buff, and they go and get a kill. And then they put 3 people on that buff, and they go and get a kill. And they finally are uninterrupted and leave with the attack speed buff. But that was 60+ seconds on that single buff.
I mean, for me, it's really Zyrhoes was able to hit his autos and hit some nice roots and just poke out London Conspiracy. They weren't able to commit real hard to that. Good play from him, and that's the strength of Neith, especially once you get that Transcendence finish like he has and have it stacked up a little bit. You just start swinging, especially when you have a couple level lead on the players like he does too, at least on Cherryo. I guess they're even.
Yeah, Neith's able to really bring a lot as far as the damage is concerned, especially with that ultimate. We saw just how much it does early on. First Blood being taken by the ult. Zyrhoes and BAdgah in the mid lane for FNATIC as we approach the 6th minute. First Blood picked up by the boys on FNATIC. Only 1 kill answered, but 3 more picked up by the yellow and black. And Cherryo looking to put number 2 for his team. Dunks on down and collects it. Shaggyshenk with credit for that with the Smashing Suns 2 on the side of LC.
That's the combo you see a lot of the times. Just the dunk down, auto attack. Wait a second, throw the wall out, auto attack again, and then Berserker's Barrage. Looked like he did a little bit slow, but I mean, it's still the lockdown there, fantastic. And CaptainTwig and Cherryo, they've been battling back and forth all game long. You can see Cherryo with actually a 4-win, 3 losses. So, like I said, London Conspiracy, they've won 5 out of the last 16. 4 of those wins have been with Cherryo, so he's been making a lot of impact in LC's recent 7 games.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, one of the biggest things here for me is I would never say he's an upgrade above Soggy Sandal, but he's been doing just as well. You couldn't tell me that this was a substitute if I didn't know that prior.
maniaKK forced out once again there. But yeah, I mean, Cherryo, his play, I think the variety in gods that he's been playing, and I don't know if that was a decision for London Conspiracy or the player individually, but a lot of Soggy Sandal was like, I'm picking Fenrir. I'm picking Fenrir. And
which, for what it's worth, was absolutely
his Fenrir is disgusting. His Fenrir is disgustingly good. Don't get me wrong there. But Cherryo, we've seen a bigger variety of gods, I would say.
And do you think that, do you reckon that comes from just the ability to play multiple roles? Cherryo is, last time we talked
to him. It's a possibility.
Yeah, last time we spoke to Cherryo, he was like, look, I am subbing in for Soggy Sandal right now, but at any moment in time, I'm ready to sub in for all 5 members. I play all roles. So that might have something to do with it. The god variants, they're all jungle gods, but just playing different gods and different roles, it sort of gets your skill set spread out a little bit.
FNATIC, having found a lot of nice counter engages early on, haven't really been looking for too much themselves outside of that attack speed buff that they stole. And a lot of that came from the fact that they had won that fight in mid lane and had a lot of pressure in the dual lane and were able to force out a couple players individually. But since then, not so much out of them. And London Conspiracy as well. We've seen Cherryo try and gank, but here's maniaKK rotating in, and Cherryo in a lot of trouble. CaptainTwig going to lock him down. It looks like London Conspiracy wants to keep up this fight. No. they're not going to keep up the chase. FNATIC, they find a nice pick, back off, and London Conspiracy doesn't want to fight them. In the meantime, talked about the dual lane pressure. Realzx trying to steal away the attack speed off for the second time.
Shaggyshenk, he's able to scare off the two members of FNATIC. All right, maybe it's not just him. It was the two
Shaggy's
other
like,
people
please,
that
not
joined
my
the
attack speed
conversation.
buff. I have the lowest base attack speed of any hunter.
But my Ricochet's on a 10-second cooldown now.
But I have the lowest attack speed of any hunter. Please give me the attack speed buff. I want to be like all the real hunters.
I actually think Hu-Yi is incredibly powerful. So, fun fact, with the recent change to Ricochet, the way Hu-Yi works is his second ability, Mark of the Crow, will augment all of his abilities, turning his first Ricochet into a stun. Okay? With the 10-second cooldown, you can now get 2 stuns. You can Ricochet twice.
Yes,
In the entire Mark of the Golden Crow, which swings things.
You know you could do that before too, right?
Just barely.
Yeah, it was a much smaller window.
It was like latency based, basically. It was such a small window. This is it's feasible now. It was sort of the change, if you remember, the change to Agni's bombs and
it's a little bit. It's like a 3-second window because it lasts for 18. It was 18 or 15 seconds. Oh, I don't. It's actually. All right, never mind. I'm gonna stop. But yeah, it was incredibly close there. London Conspiracy, globals. Haven't really been used in conjunction too much. We've seen some attempts at some ganks, and we've seen Cherryo lock down the 2 targets, but since then,
we saw aero. That was where the response came from to the First Blood, right? The response kill onto Mania came from the global rotation out of aero, and then other than that, we've seen the ultimate used. Not as damage, but sort of as an extra portal to get through 1-2 walls instead of just a single. Ultimate's still available for Twiggy, but it's completely off the mark. Will it matter? Well, Zashu's going to turn right around. There's the Athena ult. Chasing the monkey is Zashu, the other character looking towards maniaK. An arrow throws out the ult, but doesn't follow up because the fight's already over.
Cherryo was looking to rotate as well, but you can see FNATIC right behind him on that minimap. And he thought a little bit better of it. Left-hand Harpies going to be contested. I think they're going to go the way of FNATIC, however. Yeah, pretty sure they were able to secure those, and no one going to look for anything off of that.
Lift is good from Realzx, and the jump's good from Shaggy. It's a very similar animation. I was thrown for a loop there for a hot second.
He got like double banished.
He got banished, and then he jumped in the air. I almost questioned myself there real quick.
Who just like takes off and starts flying to the moon. Chang'e, please.
I must go. My people need me.
My Chang'e needs me.
Aero here, looking at mid Harpies. There's London Conspiracy looking at Realzx, but he's got no problem with that. With Fatalis online, he's ready to rock and pushing out the enemy.
Mid Harpies, Aero and Cherryo, they want to fight this, but this is a 3-on-2. Rotation from the dual lane. Athena, no ultimate for her, so FNATIC fight. EmilZy not going to be able to make the rotation. That wall, though, on point from Cherryo. Not going to allow FNATIC to chase because you could see, based on their positioning, they wanted to fight.
Oh, yeah,
And then CaptainTwig wanted to teleport to Cherryo, but he pressed a little bit too early. The teleport from Furious Monkey is actually a really small window to go to the player you want. It's not that easy to do. Left-hand side.
Important beats used to get rid of the Neith ult, which again is a stun. Great boxing coming out from Realzx. Is it even boxing when you don't get hit? But now he's in trouble. 4 members of London Conspiracy looking at the slow Freya as he walks over the threshold.
Aero putting out a lot of poke. maniaK's rotated as well. There's actually a fight in the mid lane. Thor and Zyrhoes are battling it off while the rest of London Conspiracy stay aggressive. And Cherryo actually getting really low. He's going to be forced out of that one. But FNATIC could rotate and take a look. Oh, okay, I thought LC was doing gold here. I was like, why are they? Okay, they're just counter warding. That makes a lot more sense. Ooh, taunt from EmilZy.
Looking for the follow-up. Here comes Zashu. Got to slow. But the bird ignores it.
These roots from Zyrhoes. Oh, man. Just on point today. So such a strong ability. Not only is it, I believe, one of, if not the highest hitting. I'm pretty. Yeah, it is the highest hitting move from an hunter outside of an ultimate. It's got like 350 like base and then like 90% scaling. It's absurd. So it does a ton of poke, especially to these players who have no physical defense yet, like a Thor, like a Janus, and you know, Zashu and EmilZy. They're pretty tanky in their own regards, but it's putting a lot of poke onto Cherryo and Aero, and they can't stay in these fights long.
Yeah, it also provides that route, which will set things up. So it can just put you in a problem. You saw what happened to Cherryo. I mean, he was rooted under his own tower, still had to walk away because the basics will follow up. So
Spirit Arrow, just such a powerful ability.
It really is. And I mean, that's largely where her wave clear comes from. Yeah, Spirit Arrow. Very, very
I level up backflip to clear the wave, personally.
I watched a YouTuber that did that once.
I'm going to do it just like, I feel like that's like style points for kills, right? It's like, you're always like, oh man, he killed him with the backflip, right? Which is always surprising because it doesn't do that all damage because people don't level it up.
Well, actually,
got to start leveling it up. Got to just start chunking kids with it.
Fun anecdote talking about leveling up different things. KO. Do you remember KO from back in the day? It was a single event. I think it was before I came in through. This was told to me by someone else. KO actually went to a. I'm not sure if it was a LAN or if it was an otherwise event, but leveled up Unravel, and so it would scare people with the Spirit Arrow, and then just unravel the wave and clear it no problem. And like people adjusted to it later on, so that's why Spirit Arrow is the way to go now. But just a surprise factor of switching things up a little bit.
A lot of poke.
I mean, we spoke about it last time on the broadcast about how sort of changing gods can throw your enemy for a loop. Yeah, KO did it with an ability change. So, surprising players, worth it sometimes. Fans, don't level your own realm.
Hey man, do what you want to do. Be your own player.
You don't
change the meta.
You didn't buy my god pack. I can do whatever I want.
Oh, look at this! A lot of aggression onto Reels here. Nice ultimate, but Shaggyshenk, EmilZy, and Cherryo are waiting for him off of the drop of this one.
Reels,
that
the banish onto the Berserker's Barrage. Cherryo helped out by the minions.
Look at this fight, though. We actually see pretty deep. And CaptainTwig, he used his ult, not able to lock anyone down. Arrow force to Beads. He's trying to get out of here. CaptainTwig locks down Shaggyshenk, and now he's focusing on Cherryo. maniaKK in the meantime.
Bang.
Not in range, not in range. But he actually rotates to his team, looking to help them out. And London Conspiracy, they lose two members really low.
Yeah.
And Zashu, the only one on full health to defend this Gold Fury if he wants to.
And I give full credit to Reels. He's the one that didn't have the impact in that fight, right? It was the team rotation and responding, but Reels, he got out of every situation. Somebody's dunking me. I'm in the air before you even show up. Oh, there's a Neith ult? No problem. I'm underneath my tower. You're going to chase me, Thor? I'll whoop you. So your Berserker's Barrage doesn't do anything. Gets a single slow onto Cherryo, which all of that just provided time for the rest of FNATIC to show up and just do the dirty work. All they did was push their buttons. London Conspiracy was just pushed up way too deep. They invested a lot, and FNATIC was able to respond to that. They win the fight. They win the Gold Fury. Of course, there's a trade-off. Solo tower goes down to the hand of Zashu.
For me, it's the fact that London Conspiracy aren't executing their team composition like they want to. They have this global, really like wombo combo that they can lock down an individual player, or at least force their beads and poke them out and then make a return trip. Cherryo isn't in range for his ult. Shaggyshenk went incredibly aggressive, and actually Reels was already running in the defensive mode. They kind of just like went in. It was like Shaggyshenk went in, and then Cherryo went in, and then he missed, and then EmilZy went in, and then Shaggyshenk went back in. And it's like you have these globals, you have this incredibly powerful rotation, but you telegraph exactly what you're doing, and FNATIC's there before you. Right? Like, that just can't happen if you're trying to lock down a player like Reels.
Yeah, that telegraph.
And then all credit to him, too. He also timed everything perfectly and actually got that woo for Cherryo. But that's twice now that I've seen Cherryo dive incredibly deep into towers, not aware that FNATIC's rotating, or at least not aware that they've rotated that quickly.
Yeah, the thought process just, FNATIC is very quick on the money. And now, the extended siege looking towards this mid lane tower over the top. Not quite.
I like how Aero just kind of stood tall there. Didn't get immediately scared. Didn't ult for CC immunity. He popped his beads, and then he threw out the unstable vortex because he knew even if Bacchus had jumped in after him, he wouldn't get controlled by that. Good play from him. EmilZy not going to connect that blink of taunt. CaptainTwig, there's no way you're teleporting on that one.
Now, the fact that there's no fear, no evil is a big deal. We discussed it briefly in Picks and Bans. Bacchus has a fantastic initiate. Belly Flop is great. Intoxicate is strong. And that's it. There's not even any sort of faux initiate. So CaptainTwig's Fear No Evil is so important to FNATIC starting these fights.
maniaKK putting a lot of pressure on this tier 1. Zashu is the same level as him. Taking a look at gold, about 700 or 800 behind. is Zashu directly, and the team as a whole, down 4,500. They did lose the Gold Fury. They have been losing a couple towers and some fights here. Actually, towers are even, 1 for 1. But they've been losing these players slowly, getting their attack speed buff taken. FNATIC have really earned themselves a nice, steady lead.
Earned is really the key point here. Last time around, we saw FNATIC.
It's not like it's like, all right, we have a 4,500 gold lead off of one fight, and like we got it in like 3 seconds. It's like slowly, steadily over time, they were able to find small incremental wins leading up to the big one in the Gold Fury.
BAdgah looking for Shaggyshenk here. Who's got the quicker reaction speed? BAdgah's not yet spotted. The banish out of Reels is going to miss.
Shaggy's like, come on, man, not again. Not again. And no one's going to be close. Actually, Aero ulting through. It looks like LDNC want to fight this. CaptainTwig has his ult. Might use it defensively just to get his team out. I think he's going to have to. No,
he knows how important it is, but Thor's in the air. Cherryo going to look on the left side at the duo lane. Reels beats it out, no problem.
That was bad communication. BAdgah going to find a kill off of that one. Aero, he falls. EmilZy, his dash is down. He's going to be taken out as well. And FNATIC looking incredibly strong right now.
But not enough as EmilZy falls down. There's the party monkey throwing things at Zashu, tanking it up with heals to survive that. But here's a secondary incursion. Here comes the damage out of FNATIC. 3 people forced underneath the tier 2. FNATIC ignoring the tower for now.
What if that was like the, I know it's the decoy, but I feel like that could actually be the real maniac too.
Yes.
And what he's doing is he like yelling at you at LAN. It's like, fight me, fight me.
That could very much be the real maniac. Like that's because that's maniac style. He pushes W at you.
Basically, that fight though, I said it kind of in the middle before it really broke out. Poor communication from LDNC. Cherryo takes to the air. I don't know if the call was from him or the team to fight. Lands down on Reels, who was separated from the rest of the team outside of BAdgah, but then immediately he hammers out. I don't know if it was kind of like a split-second decision where he's like, I can't fight this, and he thought he could at first, but he hammers out. In the meantime, Aero takes the portal to Reels, and then just dies because now Cherryo is out. He was taking all the poke that Reels was dishing out originally to Cherryo. You saw the Neith ult come through. EmilZy actually does a fantastic job of blocking it, but it's still not enough. BAdgah finds the kill with the knockup, and then EmilZy also gets picked because he took so much damage trying to keep Aero alive. Jungle mid on a different page.
Yeah, well, once you see Cherryo go ahead and ult in, and immediately it's beads out of the stun from the Thor ultimate, beads out by Reels. I don't want to deal with that. I'm out. Aero didn't get the memo.
Apparently not. LDNC though, 6,000 behind BAdgah. I think just looking for poke here. No one else really on his team is close, but LDNC
Aero didn't take that portal. And neither did Shaggy. It won't result in anything but a couple of laughs. But
Spirit Arrow, Shaggyshenk poked out pretty heavily. He's got lifesteal though. He'll be fine. Lifesteal is strong.
Just a little bit. And it's just a soul leader.
Funny enough that he went soul leader, considering he's against a Freya. Gives him physical protection. Not very useful against a Freya.
It gives him health. It gives him attack speed. But it'll help him against, well, don't forget, Zyrhoes is in the mid lane with physical. So it might not be the direct lane matchup, but Aero going to find himself safe with the portal of the century.
I didn't even know you could do that. I feel like you shouldn't be able to do that. Teleport in by Zashu. Cherryo takes to the sky. Look at the Shaggyshenk getting dove on. BAdgah finds the kill. EmilZy just trying to protect his teammate, but everyone's so low. Cherryo once again dives into that back line, hammers out. Meanwhile, the rest of his team was standing tall, falling one at a time. 3 members down. And
combo.
This is the Phoenix.
The jump from CaptainTwig gets the slow. The cat from maniaK gets the stun. 2 monkeys, 1 kill. Absolutely love it.
CaptainTwig not going to time that jump in time as Cherryo drops from the banish, so that's not going to connect or slow. But FNATIC right now in full control of Game 2. Game 1 was a back and forth. This is actually a pretty big back and forth as well from LDNC and FNATIC, and I think there was just a couple mistakes that have allowed FNATIC to really get ahead. I don't know if LDNC's plan was to fight early or get ahead early or really focus on that mid or late game, but we saw them start to open up in the mid game after a very passive early game with only a few kills, and then they kind of just executed their plans poorly.
LDNC though, they're just stuck at 2 kills. They didn't move on.
They got the 2, and there's been nothing since then.
FNATIC kept on going. And I think largely it is due to the composition. They've got 2 monkeys, Kevin. What do?
I don't know. You just kill the monkeys?
You've got young monk and old monk. You can't do it.
I wonder what the win rate on those
on the double monkey comp.
So
honestly, it's high.
I don't know about that,
because you've got initiation from the young monk.
I feel like we've talked about it a lot, and sometimes they lose a lot. I kind of want to know now.
That is a stat I will take up later today, because I'm telling you, young monk and old monk. That is a strong combination of monkeys. You got the king of the monkeys, and then what is he? God of Howler monkeys or something hyper specific on Unbats?
I don't know. Don't ask
Either
me.
way, it's working out for FNATIC as they find themselves in the lead by about 12,000 gold, just barely underneath it as they hit 11-5 and 23 on the clock. Everything's looking to be in FNATIC's way, but don't forget, though it wasn't this late, FNATIC was winning for the majority of Game 1. LC was able to take it back. So
if I'm FNATIC, I'm forcing fights here. Not only am I that 12K ahead, but also beads are used. Realzx and CaptainTwig trying to lock down aero. He's going to get that wall. Ult used. Cherryo forced out as well. Aero actually comes back into that fight. Neith used. No one else in range to capitalize. And EmilZy going to be taunting FNATIC out.
Thor ult is down, which means Fire Giant is
all the globals are down from London Conspiracy. FNATIC, though, they're level 20. I like every player is level 20 outside of CaptainTwig, who's incredibly close. BAdgah, doesn't really matter, you're a support. They have this opportunity to take advantage of just having higher base damage on their gods.
Sure.
It's going to be about 5 or 6 minutes before we see London Conspiracy start to hit their level 20s, start to max out, and Cherryo probably a little bit longer.
Stun onto maniaK.
I don't know about that. Trying to poke out maniaK at this point is like wasting your time.
Especially since he still has the ultimate, Kev. Like, you're just... maniaK has 2 life bars and a Runeforge Mystical Mail situation. Cherryo's not going to do too much. The rest of FNATIC, though, you're going to do a decent amount to the Fire Giant, who finds himself already at, well, 0% HP. Fire Giant around the waist up. FNATIC EmilZy walks in just to die. Realzx picks up that one. Here comes Zashu, going to land and get a good stun. That might result in a kill, but a backflip out of Zyrhoes will save his life as Realzx takes out aero. Cherryo's going to give chase onto Zyrhoes. No, Zyrhoes finds it. And maniaK able to pick up a kill. Cherryo just trying to find safety and back without anybody really bothering him. So FNATIC go ahead, pick up the Fire Giant, pick up 3 members of the opposite team, and we'll watch them walk down the right-hand lane.
And what's actually powerful about this is also the timing on that left-hand side Phoenix spawning. It's going to happen very soon, and as it's happening, there's actually going to be the pressure from FNATIC on the right-hand side Phoenix. So someone from London Conspiracy has to defend this, or it's just going to be taken out. You can see 2 members there, and FNATIC just going to walk into that right side Phoenix, take it. Realzx going to solo out the tier 2 in mid lane, and FNATIC rotating from that right-hand side. There's still a lot of pressure on the left, and FNATIC are going to get 3 Phoenixes just like that.
Yeah, the left Phoenix was taken a little bit earlier. It just respawned, so FNATIC will go ahead and visit it and basically look at it. Don't forget the Phoenixes respawn with half power, so able to really take that out no problem. 3 Phoenixes down on the side of London Conspiracy, and FNATIC looking to look at the base, but Cherryo in the air.
This is a fight that LT has to all in, and Cherryo not going to be able to connect to with this ult. Here it comes. You're no evil, displacing London Conspiracy. CaptainTwig going to find one. Realzx finds EmilZy. Zashu going to be chased down by the decoy from maniaK, who turns his attention to Shaggyshenk, a one-on-one. CaptainTwig versus aero. CaptainTwig going to come out in favor on that one. 3 members down from London Conspiracy, and for the 4th time in Season 2, London Conspiracy and FNATIC split games. London Conspiracy, they just seem to be that team that plays up to FNATIC. They did it in Game 1, but FNATIC, I'd say back in form for Game 2, taking a decisive victory over LC.
Yeah, FNATIC looked very strong in that second game. A lot of it had to do with, they just didn't let go of the game. Game number 1, they, for whatever reason, London Conspiracy was really able to find their stride. FNATIC just didn't let that happen. They didn't let off the gas and never allowed LC to really get comfortable.
And fantastic play from them all around. I believe that was a Neith ult for First Blood. Yeah, okay. Can we, let's do the replays from like something, you don't need to watch a Neith charge ult. Watch like the person ganking or fighting, right?
like
Even
the
if they don't
Neith
get the
charge.
kill.
I like it because it shows presence of mind. Here it is, a
They
second time
played
for
it
Kevin.
again. They played it again. Show me
There
a
it
new
is.
alt this
You know what?
time. You got a new alt
Can we actually
for me?
see that one more time? I would absolutely love to see again. Yeah, it's about the presence of mind, understanding the map situation. Look at this. Boom goes the dynamite. Love that play.
You don't even see her charge it up. That's the worst part.
But you see the arrow go boom.
I do want to talk about that last engagement we saw at Fire Giant.
Sure.
maniaKK doing a good job of zoning off London Conspiracy. They had no idea how low it was. They had no vision. And EmilZy just kind of took the gamble like, okay, now I think it's low. And it was. The second he dashes in, Fire Giant's completed, and FNATIC find the kill. But, you know, at that point, you either there's one of two things that need to happen. Either, A, you give up EmilZy and you retreat back to your own base, or two, you all in on the team. Zashu alled in. He went all in. You could actually see the horse, the cavalry charge come through. Actually, he like 3 or 4 people with it. Yep. And then kind of like, once again, London Conspiracy kind of like rolled in one at a time.
BAdgah really, he got a double or triple belly flop, and that changed a lot. There it is, super slow-mo. Right. Look at that. Look at the presence of mind, understanding the map situation, the technique to go ahead, press the ultimate button, and then press the mouse button.
Is he
it's
player
just
of the
so
game?
Intense. So
Are they
intense.
player of the game, too?
He just might be.
Player of the game?
He just
Who's
might
player
be.
of the game? Is it the Neith alt? Is the Neith alt player of the game?
The Neith ult, actually. Not Zyrhoes himself, but the Neith
No,
ult.
it's the Neith alt.
Just the ult.
CaptainTwig, though.
Realistically, it will be CaptainTwig, the young part of the monkey combo. 7, 0, and 9 on the young monk. The party monkey himself, Batz, played by CaptainTwig. Really, a lot of times, the Fear No Evil was used in interesting situations. Not always for the initiate, but sometimes for follow-up.
I mean, in the middle of the fights, typically the best time you can use Fear No Evil, if you have gods on your team like a Wukong, like a Bacchus, who can initiate for you, because they force out beads, and then you have this powerful AoE CC that forces players in the direction you want them to go, away from the middle of the totem. That's when it's most powerful. Yeah, you're able to really, it's tough to do, but you're able to really force the opponent in the opposite direction. And actually, we're lucky enough to be joined by CaptainTwig himself. Congratulations on your win, Bo. How you doing?
Hey, what's up? Yeah, doing good.
Fantastic, man. You guys have been really on a huge push in the second part of this season. And I think a lot of it has to do with your personal performance really stepping it up in the second half of the season. Anything different? Or did you just find your stride?
I guess I just found my stride. I played a few more ranked games and looked to improve as much as I could in scrims. Nothing big that changed, though.
Awesome. I think we can really see the improvement. Let's roll back to game 1 there. We saw a very dominant game 2, but what went wrong for you guys? Because a lot of times it seemed like that hell just barely escaped when you guys were trying to lock her down.
I definitely don't think I shut down Hell enough in the early game, and EmilZy definitely got a lot of good picks with Sobek pull that went into kills in the fights.
Do you feel like a lot of that was based on because you got, really surprised with the Blink Sobek First Blood? I know you didn't expect it. We didn't expect it either. Did that kind of, I don't want to say scare you, but were you a little bit more passive because of that, or is it just the Thanatos as well?
A little bit. Yeah, they definitely had a lot more kill potential with the Isis being more fed, and yeah, Thanatos and Neith. But yeah, I guess they just they had a lot of really strong late game with Hell. So.
Well, you guys are second overall in. You guys are in the top 3 overall in Europe right now, and you guys really, obviously, at the moment, heading to LAN. I don't think there's any change in that, but how hard are you guys pushing in the last 2 weeks of the season? Are you guys looking to make it to that #1, really grinding it out, or are you sort of happy with where you're sitting and just focusing on the LAN itself?
Definitely looking for that #2 seed. I guess that has a buy bracket at the LAN, right? So, and we're also looking to. Well, just improve as much as we can before the LAN so we make it to Worlds.
Fantastic. Again, congratulations on your recent wins. Is there anything you'd like to say to the people at home?
Thanks for supporting us, if you do. Yeah, really appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for joining us. CaptainTwig, of course, is the jungler for FNATIC, team that just split down the middle with London Conspiracy. And with that 1-1, we'll see how the standings look. We get a 1-1 split between London Conspiracy and FNATIC, and Paradigm just take 2 in a row over their opponent, Team Dignitas.
You know, yeah, Luddic Conspiracy repeatedly able to find FNATIC or wins against FNATIC all season 2. They split every single time they faced off outside of Spring Split when it was a best of 3, but they were able to take one game off of them. So this team, I wouldn't say they have their number because they haven't been able to take a set off them,
Right.
but they understand really how to exploit weaknesses from FNATIC. And Luddic Conspiracy, they're looking pretty good to make LAN. I don't know if they've qualified yet because Myrmidons might still have a chance if they run the gauntlet and win every single of their games, but Luddic Conspiracy more than likely to make LAN, and maybe a team, maybe a dark horse that could upset, so look forward to them at the Super Regionals.
For sure. It'll be interesting to see, and Luddic Conspiracy has performed fantastically at LAN in the past, specifically in that dual lane. Shaggyshenk and EmilZy have combined for some exciting games. That was all in 2 weeks, but right now, we've got North America coming at you. Stay tuned. Some hot games.
She just shakes her